Hi everyone, and welcome back to Korthos Island. Beneath this little tree I like to go and sit under whenever we're starting something new. It's been a while since, in fact it's been a long time since I did any kind of TR or any something new. I think the last time was the Trickster, but before that, a long time since I TR'd anybody. And Brian, I could have really done with your organisational skills, matey, to be faced with that absolute mess that was the 200 plus reincarnation cache and stuff just all over the place, especially when you've not played for a while. I know, making excuses and all that, but yeah, it was a disaster. It took me maybe the better part of a week to try and get some gear together for what I hope is going to be the end build here. I still haven't told you what we're doing here, although the title might have given it away. I figured as they've released the Duergar now, maybe we could take my dwarven tank, who's kind of a tank without anybody to tank for now, because the two others in my little group are, for varying reasons, missing in action at the moment. But yeah, I figured we could try and convert him into something a little more offensive to help him to be better on the soloing side of things. And the first thing I want to do with the Duergar is show you a couple of the little customization options on the character creation. Can we just zoom in on our hero here? Can we go a bit down with the mouse there? I think that's about as good as I'm going to manage. Now, the first thing you'll notice, hopefully, is the majestic beard. You're basically given a choice here between no beard and an absolute monster. And the monster comes in varying shapes and sizes. This one I thought was quite fun because all these little jewelry bits and pieces, they can be customized too. And then you get the little chain thing there. It's a fashion accessory in itself, isn't it, this beard? So shame on me for going with the same old hairdo I always use. I just quite like this one, the way it falls down on either side of the face, but there are some, from what I can tell, some new tailored things like the Mohican type stuff that's much more suited to Duergar. Jewelry as well, and face tattoos, that kind of carry on. So I wanted to show you that before I put the cosmetics back on and ruined it, because I have a full helmet on this dwarf and you wouldn't have seen any of this, which is a real shame because I think there's been some work gone into this. I think it's pretty cool, that. But yeah, he's I think this was one of the cosmetics from the Year of the Dragon, and he's just kind of attached to that. So I think you can still see some bits of beard just sticking out. It looks daft, doesn't it? Yeah, does look a bit silly, but for I don't know. I just think this dwarf looks all right with this dragon cosmetic, so I've kept him in it. Right. So let me just go through the basics and try and explain a bit about what I'm trying to do this life, because unusually for me, Brian, I have done a plan on the excellent Matrix DDO builder thing to try and get most of the pieces I'd like into place. I was thinking to try and go. Let's just get the right thing up here. Obviously, we're the first thought that crossed my mind was we'll do the Duergar with a with my main character who's got all the racial lives, and so we'd throw a load of points in this at the start and steamroller everything and stop at the end of heroic, which wouldn't be that entertaining, I don't think. So what I propose to do instead is try and find a different build for this character that was kind of the dwarf tank, and as he's a dwarf anyway, it seems to fit quite nicely. And So yeah, my proposal is to still go heavy in this Duergar tree. Obviously, I'm going to have to pay the points because I've only got 3 racial points for him, and see what we can do with some of the other things. See what kind of apologies if you're hearing some grunting and noises in the background. I've got this little French pug staying with me this week, and my God, do they make a noise! The poor things seem to have so much trouble breathing from the ones I've walked, but I digress. So yeah, I want to see if we can come up with a build that will complement some of the things we've got in this tree. Now, without going into too much detail, because we can explain them as we go along, up here at the top, we have +1 competence bonus on critical threat range with Dwarven War Axe. And he does have a Dwarven War Axe that he's been using at the cap anyway, so that's quite nice. He's been using the, what's it called? The one from Fire Over Moorgrave with the fetters on it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you might have seen him using it if you saw any of the paladin video I made. So we've got that for a threat range, and of course in the top of the either the barbarian or the dragon lord. My main character's a barbarian at the moment, so I figured we'd try dragon lord. We have 2 on crit multiplier with all weapons, so I figured that might marry up quite well, those two, some threat range and some multiplier. But also, I mean, the Dragon Lord is, I've never played one at the cap, so that's another bit of a journey of discovery. I've heard all about this overpowered. Of course, we've leveled one and just crushed everything with a ridiculously high shout DC. But I'm going to be testing the limits here because this is not going to be a pure Dragon Lord, so he's not going to get all the fancy tactical feats the pure one would. The other thing that really stands out to me in here, this is to do with this nice little size thing. You get a funky little animation and you suddenly become quite big. I think probably up to the size of the thing in the Unyielding Sentinel, you know, when you get the 10,000 temporary hit points, the, I can't remember what it's called, we just call it Go Big. At the moment it just lasts for 2 minutes, but as you go up the enhancements, it progressively lasts, as you can see, 3 minutes, then 5, and here I think it's, yeah, lasts until rest or death, which is perfect for someone like me who forgets to re-click on the things. Although in the case of this one, you should be able to see there's a nice visible queue there, isn't there? When you go back to normal size, you just know it's time to click on it again. But there are some nice things in there, and they're all for 1 point each as well. For 5 points total in the tree. Obviously, you've got to put points in elsewhere to get to here. You're getting 3 attack. This is presuming, because you've got a choice as well. There's an engaging choice here. You can take the reduce as well with some nice things. But for the enlarge one, you get 3 attack and damage, 5 on fort bypass, 2 seeker that equates to, doesn't it? And this at the top, 20% damage on helpless. And this ties in so well with what the Dragon Lord does and what I've been beefing about in the past, you know, what is helpless, what isn't helpless. Well, the Dragon Lord, the raw, just about everything becomes helpless, as far as I'm aware. Also, they're pretty strong on tactical DCs. So in the fullness of time, I'm going to throw the stunning blow in as well, which also causes helpless. And we'll see what kind of mischief we can get up to and how much we can stack these different sources of helpless between gear and various enhancements we can find along the way, and feats, of course. So that's kind of the plan. Play on the helpless thing, explore the Duergar tree, put plenty of points in here. I mean, there are some nice things. I might as well have started, so I might as well finish now. We can look on the reduced side of things. You've got 3 psionic dodge. Yeah, three dodge and max dodge, and then you can have another 3 max dodge on that one. Natural armor, that's kind of neither here nor there. 10 MRR is quite nice, as long as you're not capped in light or robes. And the kind of capstone 5 incorporeal. Is that? I don't know. I don't know how much the Reaper mode takes off that kind of thing. I'm leaning more towards the enlarge anyway. This is the standard Dwarven training line. They've not changed any of this. Just two points all the way up. The thing that has changed is the one up at the top here. The competence crit threat range is new, I think. And I believe, well, I hope anyway, that the standard dwarf has benefited from this kind of stuff too. I know they've got that because he just TR'd out of a dwarf and he had that. So that's been changed. Also, things like this that were overpriced in the past, I'm hoping this has changed in the dwarf tree as well. These were 2 action points for each one, but now for the sake of 3 points spent, you get your 3 in fort saves, which is okay, but 5 quality on max hit points, which is great. I think I'm right in saying it's the same one as is in the falconry tree somewhere there. That's right. The quality bonus. So that's another really nice thing, quite low hanging. The armor class and max dex bonus, that was in the standard dwarf tree. Something that wasn't, this one, very nice. No weapon damage. So Rust Monster Ooze, here's looking at you people, and no need to mess about going in the what's it called, Feydark tree for the force weaponry. Anything else that caught my eye in here? I'm thinking all the way up all the way up there. That definitely. These are just spell DCs, which we're obviously not doing anything of. Invis, I've got Invis clickables anyway, so I don't see us making too much use out of that. There's a favoured enemy there. Possibly. I mean, there is a favoured enemy in here, dragon. And we could take a favoured enemy out of the Harper tree if we wanted to start stacking those things, but I don't think it's going to be a road I'm going to go down. But definitely the quality hit points I will take. And then in the cores here, I think they were a bit lukewarm to start with. These here, they were just what the first one is there, 5 hit points and 6 spell points. Well, the spell points aren't going to be useful to many builds anyway, and 6 spell points is a bit bleh. So standard stuff here, strength or con. But then when you get to the next one, you've got attack and damage thrown in there as well. So they're not too bad. So we could potentially invest some more down there, a bit more strength and more attack and damage, depending. We've also got some, there's a nice little option down here. I plan to give us 11 levels of rogue in the fullness of time. So we're going to get an 11 boost for the sake of 3 points invested in here, speed boost, so that's quite nice. Otherwise, this one is always a good tree to splash in. If you have a decent imbue like we will have from the Dragon Lord, 6 points there gets us 3 imbue dice, that's not bad. We've got 3 sneak dice for another 6 points. The cores are pretty good. They've updated these recently, so we've got well, proficiency with cookeries. We're not really bothered, but 10 fort bypass is nice. 1 damage. Speaking of fort bypass, we do qualify for having 10 rogue levels. We will qualify at the end for 1 rogue special ability, and the standout one for me, at least for our build, is it called Opportunist, that gets 3 double strike and 10 more fort bypass. I thought that seemed too good to pass up. Assassin's Trick to remove more fort from opponents. and make them vulnerable to sneak attack, although as a solo we're not going to be sneak attacking bosses too much, are we? But the minus fortification is going to be helpful. And then the top prize up here, if we can get to 20 odd points spent, the killer for another 20 stacking double strike. Now, judging by my main character, I think we can probably realistically expect to get to, if we put some effort in, to around 80 double strike at the cap, with all things being factored in. So we can use this killer in regular questing to get very nicely up to the cap of 100. If you didn't know, the melees are capped at 100 double strike. Anything else is wasted. Unlike the ranged, which is the world is your oyster. Just go and go, stack the double strike as high as you can. So that would be great for questing. Raiding a bit less so, where it's mostly just beat up one big thing, so we're not going to be killing anything, so we're going to be stuck on 80. Unless it's in Reaper and we can do the Reaper double strike boost. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. Some in Assassin to boost us up. The tier 5s in Dragon Lord, loads of good stuff. To have a play with the tactics. I've never had any joy with Trip in Legendary. Never even tried, to be honest, for a long time because it was so broken. It just didn't seem to matter what you did. But I think it's been fixed, and I think we have a chance, albeit not the best chance because we won't have the big tactics feats. But we have a chance of trying to make some of this stuff work, and I have geared towards that. So hopefully. Right, back to the here and now. So although the plan is to go with a war axe at the end and to try and get some sneaky strike through on that using the what's it called, two-handed speciality at level 31 in Legendary. So until then, we're going to play as a single weapon fighter, take all the single weapon fighting line, and then the two-handed speciality, I hope, will give us that tasty 120 strike through and make up for the somewhat of a lack of AoE. The AoEs I plan to have Whirlwind and Quick Cutter, so we're not going to be that bad. I had considered going for the cleaves, Cleave and Great Cleave. They've been updated recently, so they're quite nice on a short cooldown and with boosted up crit chances. For early going, I think it would have been good, but we would have had to burn a feat because power attack's obviously a prerequisite for that, and I want to use precision because we're not going to be raging. We're going to be using the strength stance out of here. So we'd have had to burn power attack feat and then take the two cleaves. And I just think if I'm planning to take the strike through feat anyway later on, I think the cleave things would probably be overkill, but we can always play about with it when we get there. So for the here and now, we're single weapon fighting. I thought a Dwarven War Axe wouldn't be a good idea at this point. So I've gone with the Kukri. I could have used a dagger just to get us into this excellent Vistani tree with the lots of low-hanging things, not least the Rapid Slash, because that's our AoE. Really lovely attack, hits several targets in front of you and makes quite a mess doing so. So that's been really nice. Just notice we've got a spare point to spend. Should I be doing anything with that? I think I probably should. Or what are we? Oh, we can't go in there until level 2. Oh, level 2 fighter. Okay, that's where we should be going, isn't it? The haste boost. Do we take the? Oh, that's of course another source of favored enemy. Do we take the undead favored enemy just for now? I don't think it'll hurt, will it? Or what's in there? Oh, that's just proficiency with cookery, which we are anyway, aren't we, with the fighter? Oh, we've got this one we could... Let's take that. Right. So, back on the here and now. So, stats-wise, big in strength, big in con. Duergar get a +1 on both of those two anyway. And I put some into dex because we'll be running in light armor and we'll be wanting some dex for reflex save. Some into intelligence for skills because I plan to try and put the roguey skills to use at the cap. With our small group, it's always nice to have someone who can do that. And if nothing else, it's a bit more treasure and XP for the group as they go around doing the business. It's also quite a novelty to have a sort of a fightery looking type being able to do this this kind of thing to surprise folk a little bit. So that's the plan. Feat, obviously, I've got single weapon fighting. And enhancements you've just seen. Bits in Vistani and bits in Dragonlord, basically. And we've got our enlarge that every time we click that gives us a... Oh, it's telling us there. 5 psionic PRR. It doesn't say that in there, does it? Oh, so as well as the 3 psionic attack, we're getting 5 PRR. So that's well worth clicking at the moment. Okay, duly noted. Our gear, a couple of little bits to note. We've got the Borderlands cookery. I could have put a little augment in there. I haven't bothered with it. I think we'll out level it soon enough. Piecemeal bits and pieces from Borderlands. Just things with Mythic on, just to give us a bit more melee power. The rest of it isn't really relevant to the build. My Featherfall cloak, which, oh god, I hope it's not a bad omen. But I went to the marketplace with our little Stormreach D12 thing. If you didn't know, it's from the anniversary event, the anniversary party, and it's probably the standout item in there, to me at least. Teleport clickable to the middle of the marketplace, but if you fail, just like with the scrolls, you end up suspended in the stratosphere above the marketplace, and as we didn't have any featherfall, we ended up splattered on the floor below, and as a first level character we promptly died, so that was embarrassing. Other teleport wise, I've got some Sulamadi's cookies from some of the special events, and the usual array of lesser resto, blind removal, disease removal, curse removal, poison removal. My trusty horse on F9, which I can't seem to redirect to any other key, and Hood of Unrest from the Night Revels event. 50 bonus dodge is crazy good against Doom Reapers and the like, and end bosses. Now, speaking of bonus dodge, that's probably it might even be the only reason I've chosen to go with the rogue split instead of a heavier Dragon Lord or something else. I guess the most popular would be a 15 paladin 5 Dragon Lord. The 15 paladin for the spells. I think they get a spell for zeal, isn't it, for 10 bonus to double strike, and then you've got what's that other thing? Well, holy sword, obviously, for crit threat range, because they're obviously already getting the multiplier from Dragonlord, and there's a melee power thing as well, isn't there? And also that angel skin gives them some defenses. So yeah, there's some nice spells the paladin gets. But I've digressed again. Yes, 15-5 is the most popular. The rogue, I wanted the uncanny dodge for the Doom Reaper. I've been so used to that with my barbarian. The thought of going up against a Doom on a melee and not having that, it just... no, I don't think we'd do very well. It just buys you a little bit of time to try and outlast the thing. So, yeah, and against end bosses, that kind of thing. But there are significant other perks to rogue as well. Obviously, you've got your evasion early. Is it with 1 or 2 levels of rogue you get evasion? I can't quite remember. I think it might just be the one. Let's just look that up so I'm not telling you rubbish. I'm certainly not a rogue expert. No, I was wrong, it's 2. And of course, for every odd level of rogue, you get the extra sneak attack dice. So for our 11, it will be finally, we'll have an extra 66 sneak attack dice. So that's not to be sniffed at either. Is he finally going to do a quest, I hear you say? Right, let's get going. So on the bottom of the bar, we've got our rapid slash, our trip, and sunder. Now, of course, these are only single target for the moment. We've no strike through as a single weapon fighter, but I'll be interested to see when we get to the cap if this two-handed speciality thing works as I hope, and we end up with a strike through in the 100 to 200 area. If we can start tripping, sundering, and stunning when we get the stun several targets, that could be a lot of fun. And significantly different from the approach my barbarian is using. If you've seen any videos with him recently, he's using the excellent Maw weapon from the threats raid, isn't it? And that has an embarrassment of CC baked into it, whereas the weapon this dwarf will be using at the cap, it does have some CC. It's got the legendary salt built in, that axe, but between that and all the shout and stun and trip and that kind of stuff that he's going to bring to the table, I hope he'll be doing more, carrying more of the weight of the CC rather than that we're relying on the weapon to do it. Where are we going? We're going in the tavern, aren't we? Right. Yeah, it feels like forever since I was back here. Now, I have commented about it being, you know, it does, if you're doing it endlessly without playing anything at the cap, just TR and TR and TR. To me, that's just so monotonous. But there is a certain charm to coming back
stepping in from the dark.
every once in a while to the roots, to where we all started the game, and just experience it once more, perhaps with a slightly different build. Now he's run off frightened. I should explain why that was the case. Note to self to do that when we get a moment. We try and use the rapid slash, get the 2 of them. Yes, beautiful. I could probably just get by just using that, round them all up and just do 1 rapid slash, and it's pretty devastating.
Your stalwart defense gives the Sahagin pause.
Yeah, I didn't finish there are 1 or 2 little pieces of equipment that it would be nice to draw attention to.
Behind the bar.
So you can see there's a countdown up here on the enlarged self buff. So it's unlike some buffs, it's quite, you've got the double indication, the size of the character and the timer there. And the thing itself is on a 20-second cooldown, so you can always just re-click it if you think you're going to run out. Go with the trip here. There we go. So to start as we mean to continue, in the helpless debate, trip, as it stands at the moment, does not cause helpless. There are certain things, I think there's in one of the in the main epic destiny we plan to go into, the legendary dreadnought, there's something on the tier 5, isn't there, where if you use improved trip, then that trip does cause helpless. So and we're going to look to feed as much as possible off the helpless damage, so that could be something we could look at depending on how effective our trip is when we get to where we're going. Let's just take a
Drexelhand
quick
isn't
moment
here.
then to some of
However,
the
web
more
footprints on the ground
impactful
betray the
pieces of
location of a secret passage.
I mentioned the dice, that's a
Backtracking
handy
may
one.
reveal the way
Of course, the
to
jack
open
jibbers
that
from the
passage.
Three Barrel Cove, the Two-Toed Tobias quest in Epic. Item only drops in Epic. For those of you not familiar with this one, it's a really nice way to recover from a death. It lets you raise yourself as a wraith and perhaps salvage a situation that otherwise you might have had to release from. Very nice too. Looking at the shaman warlocks in that same Three Barrel Cove who just love casting those hold spells. If you don't have a eternal flask of freedom of movement to use, or the freedom spell, then this can be a really handy way to rescue yourself from what could otherwise probably be a death too. From if most sources of like stun, paralyze, all this kind of stuff, you can just hit that harper pin and it goes bye-bye, gives you a chance to recover yourself. That comes from obviously Harper Favor in the Evening Star chains. Really nice item to have. Potions of Cure Serious from the guild potion vendor on the square in Kundarak. Otherwise, I think you can only find Cure Moderate at this level if you're wandering around looking for. Obviously, if you have Hireling doing that, it's less important. But I like to take these with me because I'm not really a Hireling fan. Potions from that same vendor, Heroism, usable from level 1, 5-minute duration. Bonus to attack, saves, and skill checks. Nothing not to like there. And actually, on the character, I mentioned the weapon already from the Borderlands, Ghost Touch for Reapers. Although Reaper mode at this low level, it's really not probably not worth doing anyway. But there are other ghosts and types of things around, so nice to not have to have a penalty against them, which makes it a real slog. And otherwise, the Quiver of Alacrity. I'm guessing plenty of you will have this from the recent. It was the anniversary event, was it? Yeah, I think it was. They did a yeah, because there was the much maligned giveaway box, wasn't there? You only, if you didn't know, it came to my attention recently that you only need to have one of these between all your characters, unless you really don't want to be swapping them around. They're default bound to character, but as soon as you canith craft a bog standard arrow or missile of any sort in there, put it in the quiver, you can see at the top there, becomes bound to account due to a bound item inside. And it's been that way for some time, so I doubt they're going to change it anytime soon. So just nice to know if you just happen to have one quiver only between your school of characters, as I think I do. I think I got epic quivers of alacrity for mine, and I just have this one heroic one to go between them. The thing with the heroic one, unlike the heroic one has to be upgraded. You don't have the speed bonus on the default model, so you do still have to do quite a bit of legwork or buying on the shard exchange of these tomes. I think there's 8 tomes that you need to collect to be able to upgrade the heroic quiver, so that's something to bear in mind as well. Okay, let's push on.
The chamber beyond the secret passage looks ancient, predating Korthos village.
I won't do an update every level as we did do when I started out, but I'll try for every two. Let's say every even number we'll do one. Just update where we're at and what new things, what feats and that. I think that's a good goal. And a trip. Yeah, rapid slash, perfect situation. I messed up. Oh, I didn't explain the frightened. They're running off in fear because of this starter robe I have. It's been quite good for me. This the I don't think it gives a save. Just when they hit you, they get overcome with fear. So they, although they run away, which can be a bit of a pain, they're also not threatening you anymore. The invulnerability DR5 is great for the very earliest levels. Very soon into the game, the opponents start having magic weapons themselves, so invulnerability becomes useless. But just for an early, the first couple of levels or whatever it happens to be, I found this to be a really good piece. It's a Canith crafted piece, invulnerable and fearsome you can craft. The other Canith crafted piece I always take with my master's gift on is the true seeing for the secret doors, although in this roguey guise we could find them anyway. Oh my god, what terrible timing. Don't do that at home.
That weaselly Drexelhand has nowhere left to run. Finish the job.
Rapid slash as well, I didn't explain properly. It's a very nice AoE attack in its own right, but if we look down here, gain 20% morale bonus to double strike for 10 seconds. So if anything's still alive in the dawn's early light, afterwards you've got a really nice damage boost against whatever happens to be there. So given it's available so early, that's a great way to come out of the gate charging. And I think that'll just about do us for now. We'll have a drink at the tavern here, celebrate our victory, and then I'll wander around the borderlands and I'll probably see you good folks again at level 4, maybe around the harbour area. Thank you very much as always for looking, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.